Well, here we have a Howard pocket watch. 21 jewel. It's a railroad railroad adjusted 5-position. Comes out of the case from the face. It's lever set. Comes out of the case from the face because there is no way to open the back of the case. You know that. The trick about opening these is that before you open them, you have to pull the stem up, and then there's a small indentation right here at the bottom, and if you lift that, that's how you get into the back of this watch. And then you release the case screws and the movement comes out. We'll do that. We'll uncase this right now. Next, we take the hands off. Just like that. Gently and slowly, as that is a ceramic face. Nylon tip tweezers. Okay, now we can take the dial face off. Really do need. Okay. Finger cuts on. There are no side screws on this, and so the dial screws must be on the back. That's just so pretty. It's dirty, but it's pretty. Take the other case screw out of there. Well, we begin to see some issues. that is the subdial, and that isn't connected to the dial. So that's going to have to be re-adhesed to that dial in that position. Not sure that they're from the same date, but they're from the same company. So I'll have to do that. But other than that, it looks like the watch is in good condition. I thought I saw a crack in one of the jewels under here. One of these guys. I think this one right here, this one. I'll check that out right now. A little oily. Not bad. Look at that click spring, is so beefy. Yeah, it looks all here, but it is wet with oil. Look at this bridge. Yeah, so here you can see one of the jewels badly scarred by somebody's screwdriver off to the left before I got to it. But that's just oil. That's two jewels sitting together and there's oil in between them. As is this one. You see that little bubble? Those two screws unlock it. Now this one is a different story. This one is mauled. That is, I can't believe that is even still in there. You can see that the rim is even chipped. So that is cutting into the steel badly. And this is on that beautiful old Howard. So these are good, and even if they weren't, we could unscrew them and take them out. But the problem with that one on this main plate, and this is the main plate where everything fits into it, is that it is really badly damaged. You can see it right there. Of course, it's the one that isn't replaceable easily. So I've ordered a main plate, and we'll just swap these out and carry on. This watch had a lot of stuff wrong with it, and you can see here. Again, this is the train of jewels. The watch is beautiful. The way it's finished, all of that tooling that's left behind. Don't forget, this is made out of brass and then plated. And those swirling, they're called snail burnishings because of their shape, are decorative. And they're only decorative for the watchmaker because none of this was viewable from the face. So this watch was just extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. This is the Howard. Yeah, and you can see here again, this is another one of the jewels that's badly mauled. And the fitting, again, is not one that can be replaced easily like this one can. This is the back side. The other side had the screw faces. And again, this has got these horrible gashes throughout. I'm surprised that he didn't crack any of the jewels when he went at this thing. Somebody must have tried to pry these out instead of pressing them out. You have to press them out with a special press, which I have. But this was really had a lot of damage to the settings, but not the jewels. So we can use all these jewels again. I'll take them out, I'll clean them, repack them with oil, and then this will be ready to go for another 50 years. All right, let's take a look at the jewel from another angle. See, look at the scratches. Somebody just really went at this. These are the jewels from another angle still. And you can see the tolerances we're talking about are very, very, very tight. But I guess he tried to push these in with a screwdriver really hard. I'm not sure. That one looks like it's broken, but it's not. That's just dried old oil. That's a clear ruby right there. These are all artificial rubies, again, because they're just less hard than diamonds. I don't know why this has so many scratches on it. I get it around the screws because people just don't center the screwdriver, but I don't know how somebody, unless it was on purpose and they were trying to indicate the direction and location they wanted the setting to go back in with, but I'm not sure. So yeah, that's the jewel set for the Howard that we're going to replace and fix. Now, you know, I'm inspecting this a little further, and I'm seeing that this one is cracked too. So this is another one in the in the main plate. Yeah, I thought that just had oil on it, but that's, again, rather savagely cracked. Whoever, I don't know what they did. I don't know what they did. But that whole main plate's going to be replaced, so we don't have to worry about it. Railroad grade, temperature adjusted, 5 positions. So the temperature adjustment was the balance had 2 metals in it. The railroad grade was how accurate it is. And the 5 position means that it was adjusted in 5 positions. And you can see this is another one of the rubies. And this ring around it needs to be flexed open to pull that ruby out of there. And I've got the tools for that too, but that's a really extensive exercise. And it's just much easier to replace the main plate. It's expensive, but it's a lot better than... It's more expensive to try and pull the ruby out of there. This dial, this movement has feet on it, which make it very difficult to center on this stand in this orientation. Which is why I'm usually just sitting it down on the ground, because it has feet. So this is going to get lubricated with this very special Bergeon Now we can assemble it. First things first, we start to grease the parts of the watch that need it, but that we won't be able to see in a little while. Specifically, the keyless works right here. Takes this very specific locations and types of oil. Grease in this case. Okay. We've got the repair dial. This has got the well, that's inconvenient. That sucks. That sucks. Okay, so the assembling starts. The reassembling starts, of course, where it always starts, with the main barrel going in after everything is lubricated. Coming back in here with our special lubricating tool. Which allows me to get pinpoint precision. Go in are the winding gear and the setting gears, and they all go in on this shaft. The winding gear, the setting gear, and the pinion. Just the machining on these is extreme. These are all hardened steel. You can see how shiny they are and how precise they are. This actually has a gear on the end of it that meshes with that gear. It's pretty trick. Alright, let me get this assembled and in. A little grease goes on there. It's a little more than necessary, but we will take care of that. Okay, let's bolt that down. Well, here we go, screwing the base plate in. That is seated completely, except for right here. And if you look on the other side, you can see that this piece needs to go like that. And that's how that works. Again, a lot of the expensive blue grease, if I told you how much it was, you guys would have a cardiac arrest. Okay, that's about all I can use of that one. So, let's put the winding wheel back on. Yeah, I don't trust that those aren't going to interfere with the gear set. So let's put the gear set in first. Okay. Since it's jewel on metal, we're going to use the Mobius 9010. That's the first wheel. That's the third wheel. Right in there. This is the second wheel. Come on now. Nope, that's not how that's supposed to look. Okay, let's start with the escapement wheel. Then it's the third wheel, which attaches to the escapement wheel. through this gear. Then it's the third wheel. And then it's the second wheel. All the pivots are where they should be, in pretty much the right orientation. Then we've got this gorgeous bridge, one of my favorite pieces of metal I've ever seen. All of the edges are chamfered all around this shape. It's stamped, jewels are set in it. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely one of the prettiest pieces of metal I've ever seen. And it goes just like that. And I'll go in there and check those pivots. I'm going to put that pallet fork in first. It's a really good question. That's how you know it's on there right. Perfect. Before I tighten anything down, I make sure that the entire movement, and that's not, you see this last one? It looks like it's in, but it's not. Well, that is the entire gear train moving. And you can see how beautiful and intricate that is for 100 years old. Well, let's put the rest of this watch together. Get it ticking. Well, the next thing I wanted to get on here was the winding gear. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous movement. There's the click wheel. And that is one way to tell watch parts are usually only go in one way. Okay, before we get much further, I wanted to show this. This is the escapement and the pallet fork. The clear ends of this that are contacting that gear are rubies that are cut square with a faceted surface. And this is the thing that lets the power loose 1 second at a time. And the balance, the thing that swings back and forth, has a little jewel on it that engages that. Now, I'll show you this without the top jewel on, and you can see how important that broken ruby is above the escapement and the pallet fork. If this is a pallet fork with those wonderful rubies at the end, then when this is moving like this, that pivot right there is moving as much as the wheel is above it. And both of those were broken. So we're going to replace both of those jewels. Well, this is the last bit right here where we put the hands on. And the first hand to go on for me is the second's hand, because that shows the life of the watch right there. And it is ticking away. So let me get the hand press out, which is the tool that all this, everything has a special tool here. There's that. Let's make sure that this one is perfect. There it is. Make sure that's absolutely centered on 12. Okay. That's on at exactly noon. And there's no date on this, so as long as these hands line up. You're golden. Case goes on, case face. There it is. .21 jewel railroad grade Howard pocket watch. Still state of the art, running well. Let's set it, shall we? So we're at about 210. That lever right there comes out. 210. Lever goes back in. Case gets closed back up again. That's why it's called a railroad grade, is because there's no way to misset it with the stem or anything like that. 21 jewels, an amazing movement, beautiful watch. That'll last another 100 years. New crystal, polished up, complete lubrication and cleaning. Yeah, that's going to last a long time. Looks fabulous. Let's bench test it and see what happens. My lovely pocket watch bench tester, made out of olive wood. It's almost too big for this size. Let's see how it runs.